Hello, students of curriculum 5210. Welcome to week 3, as the balloon here says. In this video, I will briefly talk about the readings and your discussion assignment for this week. If you comment just on your discussion in week 2, a lot of you taking the stand of a balance or combining between positions, and that's okay, and many of you, and I'm happy about it, are bringing evidence and your own experience, and that's great. I think that now that you comment on each other, you're starting to see the interactive aspect of our course, and I hope that you're learning from this. Please read posts of your colleagues, not just those that you are responding to, and this will give you a lot of good resources to think about. This week we are moving from historical perspectives of more or less decade ago to curricular approaches of the first half, or the latter part of the first half of the 20th century. We are reading Counts and Tyler. So Counts, the piece that we're reading is chapter 6 from the book. We're actually moving from part 1 to part 2. Counts is chapter 6, the last chapter of part 1, and Tyler is chapter 7, the first one of part 2. So Counts, this piece was published in 1932, early 30s, and it's actually a collection of speeches that he gives, and that's why you can see that different parts are not necessarily smoothly connected, at least in the original book. And Counts is considered to be part of social reconstructivism in education, which part is also a critique of the progressive education movement of John Dewey. So although in one point Counts quote Dewey, in general the movement that is part of its critique of the progressive education of Dewey. Some context: Counts wrote during the Great Depression, and he mentioned the depression in this piece, so there is a big focus there on the economy. You might like it, you might not. He's talking about dire poverty, privation, misery, and even starvation. There is a clear, as I see it at least, Marxist undertones there. For example, he is saying if the machine is to serve all and serve all equally, it cannot be the property of the few, and I think Marx will sign on these two hands. And the last comment before the specific assignment about that, counts in one point in the text that you read for this week, lives education, almost totally, and talked about democracy, this dilemma, democracy versus the economy. So it's important to keep in mind um, the educational question here, although he's kind of leaving it and started to talk about democracy and the economy, which leads us nicely to the first theme this week: education as an active agent in shaping society. Counts argues if the schools are to be really effective, they must become centers for the building and not merely for the contemplation of our civilization. And I'm asking you, what do you think about this role of education, and what are particular curricular implications for such active role in, if you want, building future society? The second piece of reading by Tyler, Basic Principles of Curriculum and Instruction. So that was written in 1948. He started there with overview of the question of the curriculum, and um, um, the focus is what educational purposes should the school seek to attain. And again, the central question of goals of education that we saw in the past 2 weeks. He's talking about methods for the this kind of question and other questions. So he's tackling the questions more formally and not particularly. He says that he doesn't give answers to them. Nevertheless, he is taking a specific approach of scientific study there, and extracting objectives from these scientific study or scientific approach. In a way, in this sense, it reminds Bobbitt that we read in week number 2. And last comment before the assignment, Tyler mentions the committee of 10. This was a subject specialist committee in 1992 in the US that dealt with curriculum. So this is the context. So the second theme that you have is about Tyler, and the title of this theme is From Subject Matters to Curriculum. So if our first theme was education as an active agent in shaping society, here it's taking a different approach of Tyler from the subject matter, how to move from the subject matter to the curriculum, and the mediator element, according to Tyler, is what we will actually ask the subject matter specialist to do for us, what to look. And he has a specific question to ask them: what can your subject contribute to the education of young people who are not going to be specialists in your field? And I'm asking you, if you are a curriculum designer, what question would you ask the subject specialist? Would you agree with Tyler, or you have a different request or task from the subject specialist? So, for example, math. What would you ask the mathematicians or the expert in math to look in math and tell us about and what kind of content or guidelines you will ask from this mathematics person to tell us, and what you will do from this in building curriculum. So I'm asking you to demonstrate possible answer for a question that you will ask the subject matter specialist um, um, to address, and how that will play out in a specific um, um, discipline, in specific subject matter. I wish you to enjoy this week in your work, and I will see you on your discussion on DTL. Bye bye.